Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be going over how to cup with the Rattlewear cupping brewer. So be sure to stay tuned. And typically in a cupping situation, we're going to put them in these type of cups, right? And they're basically bowls where you're going to put an amount of coffee. So for example, we'll put in something like this size, we'll put 13 grams and of ground coffee. Put the coffee in, and you'll take that coffee. So let's say, for example, if I put it in here, right? There's the coffee. You're gonna smell it and get the aromatic notes. So this one has some earthiness, a little bit of like fruitiness, very earthy, very kind of woodsy, maybe a little bit of cedar. So from this point, after you smell that, you're going to add hot water, and the water is going to float the coffee. Some of the coffee will rise to the top and float, and then you'll smell it again to get the wet aromatics, and then you'll break it down. And what I mean by break it, you're going to take your cupping spoon, oh, sorry about that, and you're just going to, while inhaling, right? And that's going to give you aromatics that have been stuck underneath that floating cap of coffee. And then you're going to taste it after that. But this is kind of how we do it in critical tasting sessions when you're evaluating coffees for purchase. However, with the COVID, of course, that's not quite copacetic. Now people are... So there's this thing called the Rattlewear cupping brewer, which is this thing. And the cupping brewer is made by a company called Rattlewear, and it's supposed to give you the ability to have the cupping experience without actually doing the cupping, and something that's a little bit more consumer friendly to work with. And so basically what you're going to do is you're going to take this funnel shaped glass vessel, and we'll take the coffee, we'll put it inside, and then we'll add hot water and then let it float. And then you'll just kind of take the same approach that you would for cupping. So we're going to go through that. So we're going to put the coffee in here, right? Great. So for this particular brewing, we are using 24 grams of coffee to make a 12-ounce cup, because we always make 12-ounce cups on the show, so we're just going along with that. So we're going to just put that in here, as you can see, shake it around so it's nice and even. So take our water. We're also going to time the brew, right? We're going to start the timer and time going up. So here we are, we're just saturating the coffee. We're letting it saturate and float. We're going to fill it up with 350 mils, which is right about to this RW. So the timer's running. 25 seconds, all right. So while this is happening, this is the time to smell. It's very kind of like warm, earthy tones, wooden tones. Kind of a very neutral coffee in many respects. We're going to be using our cupping spoon. And so this is a cupping spoon. This particular one is the really traditional type of cupping spoon. These are silver with a big bowl. And these type of spoons are coveted by a lot of the coffee people around the world. And there's a lot of people out there that have their own spoon, right? And they have their own spoon, and even when they're traveling, if they're traveling around to different parts of the world to do cuppings, they bring their spoon with them. We are now at 1 minute, 56 seconds. But really, most of the time, I use this, which is a standard, soup spoon. This is really what mainly I like to use, because it's simple, it's ubiquitous, they're easy to find. You buy them at the restaurant store, you can buy them by the dozen, by the 2 dozen, and they're really quite inexpensive. So, yeah, that's brighter. Okay, so you can see here, you can see the coffee. It's a little bit cloudy, mainly because, there's a lot of sediment that's falling, but you can see the cap, right? There's a cap just kind of hanging up there. That is part of the the floating coffee. And what we're going to do at the 4-minute mark, which is about half a minute, we're going to break this cap, and underneath the cap are these aromatics that we're going to inhale and smell to get the idea of what kind of other aromatics this coffee may have. Almost there. All right. Yeah, there we go, 4 minutes. So now we're going to take our cupping spoon, right? And we're going to break this way, right? While inhaling. Now, typically in these type of cups, you'd be a lot closer, right? But here it's a little bit farther just because of the design. All right, interesting. Still more woodsy. That kind of neutrality. As you can see here with the light, it's become thick again because a lot of those extra sediment, or a lot of those extra ground coffees is falling. So it's actually clouding the coffee. That will clear as we wait. So typically when you're cupping coffees, you're going to let the initial steep for 4 minutes, do your break, and then you're kind of going to wait till almost 10 minutes before you actually start tasting. This will allow us to clean the coffee. It allows the coffee to settle, and it also allows the coffee to cool, which is really probably the more important part, because when the coffee is this hot, it does occlude your palate, so it's harder to taste the different nuances of the coffee. You wait kind of 10 minutes, and then it falls. It's cool enough, and then you can taste and really get a better sense of what the coffee is and give it a more accurate evaluation. But in the meantime, we're going to clean out the coffee, and what that means is that at the very top here, there's still a bunch of floating coffee, green coffee beans, and other muck, let's say, and we're going to clean that off. Now here's the thing, like maybe you can see it a little bit in the video, but there is a lot of stuff floating, a lot of grounds that are floating. Sometimes it's easier to get it, sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's always stuff floating. It just depends. Sometimes you get coffee stuck in your teeth. Well, that's kind of how it goes. All right, that's pretty good. So in a typical cupping, we will actually have a glass that has hot, clean water in it that we're going to use to dip the spoon between tastes. And that's just to clean off the spoon so that it's fresh for your palate. So basically, in a typical cupping, we'll take our spoon, right? And then you'll take a little sample like this. And what you're trying to do by slurping is you're trying to spread the coffee across your palate, across the cavity of your mouth, aerating the coffee along the way, kind of like a spray gun, to help make the coffee alive, I guess is the best way to put it. So the idea behind this Rattlewear is that the coffee has hopefully all fallen down into the lower part of the V here and contained all of the grounds. Now that's not going to be perfect. There's still going to be some floating around. Then we use this plunger to separate the two segments, right? So we're just going to kind of let that float down like this. Now the problem with this little plunger is that it doesn't fit snugly. It's just there to fit and prevent intermixing. So you kind of have to hold it as you pour. So if I'm going to pour this, I have to hold this here and then give it a pour. Otherwise, those other grinds will escape and you just won't have a necessarily pleasant coffee drinking experience. Ooh. All right. There it is. The Brazil Fazenda Morofeo Natural New York 2-3, screen 16. Soft. It's a soft coffee, neutral. You know, it's a nice cup of coffee. It's what I would say is, it's a nice, fine, soft cup of coffee. It's not terribly, relatively some bit of woodsiness, just general coffeeness. Not really anything dramatic, but nothing terrible. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you spending the time with us. I hope you enjoyed this video about the Rattlewear cupping brewer and how to cup coffees using it. Be sure to check out some of our other videos. And also, as you can see here, we do a live stream every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to tune in. We talk coffee and cigars for a couple hours, and it's a great way to spend a Thursday evening. So come and join us. See you next time.